So we were doing about the somatic hybridization and also the protoplast culture. So we will now do about the symmetric and asymmetric hybrids. So what is symmetric hybrid? It is saying that if the chromosome number in the hybrid is the sum of chromosomes of the two parental protoplasts, then the hybrid is said to be symmetric hybrids. Okay, let me again revise this part. It is saying that if the chromosome number is the hybrid in the hybrid is the sum, that means addition of the chromosomes of the two parental protoplast, then this hybrid is said to be symmetric. Means suppose some plants species have the chromosome number of um, suppose its diploid number is 24, that means haploid number is your 12. Then another species from which we want to fuse the protoplast, they have the chromosome number as 24 also, so their haploid number is 12. So when they fuse we get a symmetric hybrid. Now sometimes symmetric hybrids between the incompatible species are usually sterile. It is saying that symmetric hybrids between your incompatible species are usually sterile in nature, and this may due to the production of 3n hybrids, that means fusion between your 2n with n give rise to 3n, right? That is triploid, so that makes them sterile, and this made due to production of 3n hybrids by fusion of 2n of one species with the haploid number of chromosome from another species. So more information has been given related with the symmetric hybrids and asymmetric hybrids. I will try to say. Now in case of asymmetric hybrids, it is saying that asymmetric hybrids have abnormal or wide variation in the chromosome number. So there will be variation in the chromosome number, then the exact total chromosome number of the two species, and these hybrids are usually formatted with full somatic complement of one parental species, while nearly or all of the chromosomes from the other species are lost during the successive mitotic divisions. So in asymmetric hybrids, they will have a abnormal or wide variation in their chromosome number than the exact total chromosome number of the two species. That, like for instance, I have said about the symmetric hybrids that number of chromosomes found in the species A and number of chromosomes found in the species B, they join together to form symmetric hybrids. But in asymmetric hybrids there will be variation. Okay, then the exact total number of chromosomes between the two species. Now these hybrids are usually formatted with uh, sorry these hybrids are usually formatted with full somatic complement of one parental species. That means suppose one of the parental species they retain the chromosome number, they will not lose their chromosome, while all or nearly all of the chromosomes of the other parental species may be lost during mitotic divisions. Asymmetric hybrids may be regarded as hybrid. Why they are said to be a hybrid? Because in hybrid, when I will just after this I will talk to you about the hybrids. In hybrids, what happened? If I zoom to get the diagram, so in hybrids, what happened? In hybrids, we get the protoplast from species A and we get the protoplast from species B in green. Suppose the nucleus, okay, I have to get the pink nucleus from species A and from species B. Now when they are fused to form the hybrid protoplast during successive divisions, it has been shown that species A and B has been fused. Okay, the cytoplasm is the fusion of the protoplast A and protoplast B, but one of the plant species retain the whole chromosome complement. Okay, while the nucleus from the protoplast B, from the species B, they are nearly lost during successive mitotic division. So that's why it is called a cybrid. Cybrid actually means cytoplasmic hybrid, where the cytoplasm has only fused the nucleus, the nuclear content from both the species has not been properly fused as a result of incompatibility. Okay, so while what happens in asymmetric hybrids, they they have the full somatic complement of one parental species, while all or nearly all of the chromosomes of the other parental species are lost during mitotic cell divisions. Okay, so as given in the table 44.3, if you see this 44.3, it has been said here that protoplast fusion between Nicotiana tabacum and Nicotiana nesophila results in symmetric hybrids, while asymmetric hybrids formed when Brassica napus and Brassica jejunea are fused. Let us see. So, symmetric hybrids between Nicotiana tabacum and Nicotiana nesophila, so it is written. Okay, this one, Nicotiana tabacum and Nicotiana nesophila, they have the chromosome number both as 48. Diploid state chromosome is 48, but when they fuse to form somatic hybrid, it becomes 96. You know, obviously 48 into 2 will give you 96. So all the chromosomes has been retained from both from species A, that is Nicotiana tabacum, and also from the Nicotiana nesophila. So it is a symmetric hybrid. But asymmetric hybrid example has been given from Brassica napus and Brassica jejunea. Let us see Brassica napus and Brassica jejunea. Okay, so the fusion between Brassica napus and Brassica jejunea that you can see here, in Brassica napus its chromosome number is 38, while Brassica jejunea its chromosome number is 36. So when they fuse, they are highly variable. It is not said actually here, not, it may be different. Okay, the chromosome number may be different in the hybrid protoplast. Okay, where one of the species will retain all of the chromosomes, while the other species will eventually their chromosomes will be almostly lost during successive cell division. More I have given information about the protoplast about the symmetric and asymmetric hybrids. I will send to you in the WhatsApp group. Now let us see about the hybrids. What are hybrids? Let us see. Hybrids are your cytoplasmic hybrids where only the cytoplasm has been fused to form the hybrid protoplast, while the nucleus derived from only one parent and the cytoplasm is derived from both the parents is referred to as hybrid, and the process through which hybrid formation occurs, this process is called hybridization, right? So only the hybrids, only the cytoplasm has been fused. Okay, only the cytoplasm has been fused. The cytoplasm is derived from both the parents. It does just mean that it has fused together, and where the nucleus is derived from only one parent, and the process is called hybridization. Now, normally hybrids are produced when protoplasts from two phytogenetically distinct species are fused. Now, what is phytogenetically distinct species? That means two different plant species are fused. We are actually interested on the cytoplasmic DNA. You know the cytoplasmic DNA, the mitochondrial DNA. Okay, which are the chloroplast, the plastids that contain. So we are keen main interest on cytoplasmic DNA content. So phytogenetically distinct species are fused to form hybrids. Okay, and we are actually why we are doing hybrid formation? We are doing hybrid formation because it is written here that hybrid hybrids are meant only for cytoplasmic traits. That means traits means characters. The characters that are actually derived from cytoplasmic genes are called as cytoplasmic trait. We have seen in non-Mendelian genetics, right? We have seen in non-Mendelian genetics that how the maternal effect of chromosomes is affecting your skin color, right? And many other things. So depend on that we do hybridization. Okay. So more I have given about the hybrids in the WhatsApp group I will send to you. Hybrids and somatic incompatibility. What does it mean? It is saying that many times production of a full placed hybrids through fusion of protoplast of distinctly related higher plant species is rather difficult due to instability of two dissimilar genomes in a common cytoplasm. Yes, so when we are trying to fuse the protoplast, it's practically, theoretically, it's possible that they have similar number of chromosomes. We fuse the protoplast by the polyethylene glycol mediated fusion, or with combination with high calcium, high pH method of fusion. But it has been observed that the protoplast of distantly means far, they are not very close, not closely related species, so distantly related plant species, when we are trying to fuse, it's very difficult to regenerate, because what happened, there will be instability of the two dissimilar genomes. Obviously they are dissimilar, so it will be a difficulty for them to retain the whole chromosomes within that hybrid plant, hybrid protoplast. This phenomenon is called somatic incompatibility. Hybrids formed despite of somatic incompatibility may exhibit structural and developmental abnormalities. So the hybrids from which the somatic incompatibility occurs, when that hybrids are regenerated into plants, they show some structural malfunction, structural deformation, and developmental abnormality. Several generations may be required to eliminate the undesirable genes. Now, due to this limitation in the somatic hybridization involves protoplast fusion of partial genome transfer in gaining importance in recent years. So they have not the hybridization technique is not quite full successful because of this somatic incompatibility, because the genomes are not compatible, the genomes are dissimilar. Okay, genomes are dissimilar, that's why they, one of the genomes will remain in the remain in the cell, while the other genome may almostly they get run away, they almostly get erase away during the successive mitotic divisions. That is the asymmetric hybrids that form actually during that time. So due to this limitation in somatic hybridization involves protoplast fusion for partial genome transfer in gaining importance in recent years. Okay. So more to go about the somatic incompatibility. It is saying that your somatic incompatibility refers to the prevention of effective fusion and integration following allo recognition, that is recognition of non-self between genetically distinct conspecific tissues when isogenic or self contacts results in such fusion. Okay, so you can also write the cell somatic incompatibility in this way, but it's more easy to go for the previous one if you want to write, because two genomes are not compatible. One of the plant species, they have chromosomes in a different manner, while the other plant species, they have the chromosomes in a distinct manner. The metacentric and submeta, you know, all know about the position of the centromere, the chromosomes arrangement. So due to the chromosome arrangement also, there will be a problem between the two plant species when they are allowed to fuse. Okay, Now, how hybridization is being done, let us see. So, a diagrammatic representation of the formation of hybrids and hybrids is given in the figure. Let us see in the figure. You can see the fusion of the protoplast. Okay, the protoplasts are fused. We get a heterokaryon, where you can see the square and the circles are actually your nucleus. So heterokaryon can be said as a multinucleate cell that contains genetically different nuclei, and then some of the cells have fused properly to become a hybrid cell, while some of the cells only one of them retained within the cytoplasm while the others got almostly eliminated. So that leads to the formation of hybrids where only the cytoplasm has been fused, okay, while the genetic content material has not been fused. So, as the formation of heterokaryon occurs during hybridization, the nuclei can be stimulated to segregate, means separate, so that one protoplast will contribute to the cytoplasm while other contributes the nucleus alone, or both the nucleus and cytoplasm. In such a way, hybridization can be achieved. So, in hybridization, what happened during the formation of heterokaryon that occurs during hybridization? This nuclei can be stimulated to segregate, to separate equally, so that one protoplast will contribute only the cytoplasm while the other protoplast will contribute the nucleus alone, or both they can contribute the nucleus and cytoplasm. In this way, hybridization can be achieved. How it can be achieved, that I have said, that theoretically it is possible, but how it is achieved practically? Now it can be achieved by, first point, the protoplast of cytoplasm donor species are eradicated with X-ray or gamma rays. So we expose the protoplast of the cytoplasm donor species. Donor species means those who are will donate the cytoplasm for the protoplast. That cytoplasm will be eradicated with X-ray or gamma ray. Now this treatment causes the protoplast inactive, non-dividing, but they will donate the cytoplasmic constituents. So those protoplasts which are actually donating the cytoplasm part, they are eradicated with X-rays or gamma rays, so to inactivate the protoplast for further division. That means the nucleus is getting deactivated actually. Okay. Okay, and so this can be achieved, and then we will fuse them just like with the, so it becomes a enucleated protoplast. That means the nucleus has been inactivated and it is fused with normal protoplast to become a hybrid. Normal protoplast, second point, normal protoplast can be directly fused with enucleated protoplast. Enucleated protoplast means protoplast which don't have any nucleus. Now how it can be achieved? It can be achieved by micro manipulator techniques, okay, like micro injection techniques, or by that one, eradication with X-rays or gamma rays can also be done. Enucleated protoplast can also be isolated by high safe speed centrifugation. Third point, that through which the protoplast can be achieved, hybrids can be achieved. Protoplasts are inactivated by metabolic inhibitors like iodoacetate. So some in metabolic inhibitors like iodoacetates can also be used to inhibit their metabolic functions. And in practice, these iodoacetate treated protoplasts are fused with X-rays eradicated protoplast for more efficient formation of hybrids. So by using this type of metabolic inhibitors like iodoacetate, we normally treat this protoplast and then they are tried to fuse with those protoplasts that has been eradicated with X-ray to get the formation of these hybrids. And lastly, this can also be achieved to get hybrid formation. It is possible to suppress the nuclear division in some protoplast and fuse them with normal protoplast. So many ways are there, that through which we can able to um, suppress them. Okay, we can able to achieve the hybrid formation. Now let us see about the examples of some examples related to incompatibility. So it is saying that sexual crossing between two different species, which is also called as interspecific, and between two different genus, which are intergeneric, is impossible by conventional breeding methods. Obviously, two distinct species which are called interspecific and two different genus, that means their genetic constitution is totally different, intergeneric we call them as. So fusion between the two different genus cannot be achieved by your normal breeding methods. For that we have to go through this process only. So this is the advantage. Somatic hybridization overcomes the sexual incompatibility barriers. How? Two examples has been given. One example, I think you have I have said little bit, that pomato, right? The pomato name. Fusion between the protoplast of the potato and tomato had created pomato, which is a new genus. So potato is a distinct species, tomato is another distinct species. Both are not similar species or closely related species. Okay, because from scientific name you can see Solanum tuberosum, and tomato scientific name is Lycoperiscon esculentum. So when this protoplast of tomato and potato has been fused, we have created a new hybrid called pomato, which is a new genus. So it cannot only be achieved through protoplast fusion through somatic hybridization. It is not possible by normal breeding methods. Okay, second example, let us see. Interspecific fusion of four different species of rice. So interspecific, that means they are specific. Four different species of rice are being fused. Oryza brachyantha, Oryza ainchgeri, Oryza officinalis, and Oryza perrieri could be done to improve the crop. So with the help of your somatic hybridization technique, we can able to fuse the fuse the interspecific varieties of rice. Like one we know, Oryza brachyantha, Oryza agengeri actually, Oryza officinalis, and Oryza perrieri. These four varieties of rice can be fused by somatic hybridization techniques to improve the crop. Different type of examples has been given in table for 44.4. You can see here 44.4. Okay, you can see here. So these are the selected examples of somatic hybrids which has been developed by interspecific protoplast fusion. So from species A, tomato with potato, petunia with these are the from same species, the closely related species, but interspecific. Petunia parodi with Petunia parviflora. Then thorn apple, which is also called Datura inoxia, with deadly nightshade Atropa belladonna. Turnip, you all know, Brassica campestis, and Thelcres Arabidopsis thaliana. This is intergeneric, different species. They are being fused by somatic hybridization technique to get a new hybrid plant. Okay. Now, what is the advantage or applications of these somatic hybrids? So you can see that hybridization is a wonderful technique, you can say, which where the desired cytoplasm can be transferred in a single step. Hybrids are important for transfer of cytoplasmic male sterility, antibiotic herbicide resistance in agriculturally useful plant. What is cytoplasmic male sterility? Cytoplasmic male sterility is the total or partial male sterility in plants. Here, cytoplasmic male sterility is the partial or total male sterility in plants as a result of specific nuclear and mitochondrial interactions. So, with the help of specific nuclear and mitochondrial interactions, cytoplasmic male sterility can be achieved. Male sterility means, you all know, the failure of the plants to produce the pollen grains, anthers, or you can say the male gametes. And manifestation of male sterility in cytoplasmic male sterility may be controlled by entirely by the cytoplasmic factors or by the interaction between the cytoplasmic factors and nuclear factors. So the interaction between the cytoplasmic factors means the genome, the genes that are present in the cytoplasm with nuclear factors. That interaction can lead to cytoplasmic male sterility, or it can be directly controlled by the cytoplasmic factors as well. So by manipulation of the cytoplasmic factors, we can make cytoplasmic male sterile plants. Okay, then it is saying that male sterility can arise spontaneously via mutations. So we can induce mutations, that is mutagenesis, that we have said before, in the nuclear genes and or cytoplasmic genetic. In this case, the trigger for cytoplasmic male sterility is the extracellular genomes. That is, the genome which is found in the mitochondria, the genome which is found in the chloroplast can be used to trigger this male sterility. The extracellular nuclear genome is the only maternally inherited. We know the extranuclear genome, that means the genome which is found outside the nucleus, that is within the mitochondria, within the chloroplast, they are maternally inherited. Natural selection or on cytoplasmic genes could also lead to low pollen production or male sterility. So through natural selection also we can achieve the male sterility, right? So it is a type of non-Mendelian inheritance. It shows non-Mendelian inheritance. So through this hybrid production, we can also achieve your cytoplasmic male sterility in plants if we are desired to do so. So you can see here that we can prepare this type of male sterile plants. Okay, again we can also provide resistance to certain antibiotics, because this type of things, this type of traits, better to say, is found on cytoplasmic genomes. Okay, and resistance to herbicides. Okay, cybidation has been successfully used to transfer CMS in rice. That means with the help of cybidation technique, we can use them to transfer the cytoplasmic male sterility in rice plant. Like hybrids from Brassica raphanus contain nucleus of Brassica napus, chloroplast of atrazine resistant Bacillus campestris, and male sterility from Raphanus sativus has been developed. So much of combination of genomes has been done here. Like the hybrids that we have prepared from prepared Brassica raphanus, it contain the nucleus from Brassica napus. Okay, chloroplast, that means they are contributing the cytoplasm part. Chloroplast from atrazine resistant Bacillus campestris. We have introduced Bacillus campestris cytoplasm in order to become resistant to atrazine, and male sterility from Raphanus sativus. Together, the prepare of hybrids has been done. Okay, so we can see that somatic hybridization has been opened a new possibility in vitro genetic manipulation of some plants to improve the crops, like for example disease resistance. It is saying here that several interspecific and intergeneric hybrids having disease resistance property can be created, like many disease resistance genes like tobacco mosaic virus, potato virus X, then club rot disease could be successfully transferred from one species to another by fusion between the protoplast. For example, resistance has been introduced in tomato plant against a disease like tobacco mosaic virus, spotted wilt virus, and insect pest. So this can be achieved by fusion because most of the resistance property is found in the cytoplasmic part. The genes which are found in the cytoplasm, in the chloroplast, in the mitochondria. Environmental tolerance. The genes responsible for tolerance of cold, frost, and salt could be successfully introduced through somatic hybridization technique, like introduction of cold tolerance gene in tomato. This can be achieved. It can also be achieved by another process known as what can I say? I have forgotten the name. It has been given in your syllabus at the last part on your topic. Soma clonal variation. So through soma clonal variation. So through soma clonal variation, we can also create some hybrids which are resistant to environmental stress, like cold stress, heat stress, then salt tolerance stress. Okay, can be achieved. But here also we are directly introducing the genes through by hybrid formation by making hybrids. So the genes responsible for your resistance against cold, frost, and salt can be successfully introduced through somatic hybridization technique, like introduction of cold tolerance genes in tomato plant. Then quality characters like somatic hybrids for production of high nicotine content and low erucic acid has been developed. Okay, so what are actually erucic acid? Erucic acid is actually a mono unsaturated omega 9 fatty acid. It is present in the oil rich seeds, like for example in the mustard plant seed, in the rapeseed also. It actually normally used in industrial food processing and home cooking in some countries. Now, uric acid is dangerous actually because it has health damaging effects that causes fatty degeneration of the heart, which is known as scientifically it is called as myocardial lipidosis, during which the fats get accumulated within your heart tissue. This may result in induced contractility of the heart muscle, which may become weaker, and you are slowly getting exposed to your stroke or heart attack at a little bit extreme type of situations. Okay, so this type of characters can be developed, some good quality characters. Cytoplasmic male sterility, I have already said that a modification of hybridization in the form of hybridization has been made it possible to transfer the cytoplasmic male sterility. Other applications of somatic hybridization has helped to study the cytoplasmic genes. Okay, that means through our microscopic study we can able to study the genes, the interactions, and their functions. In fact, the information is successfully used in plant breeding programs. Protoplast fusion will help in the combination of mitochondria and chloroplast to result a unique nuclear cytoplasmic genetic combination that can also lead to male sterility also. Somatic hybridization can be done in plants which are still in juvenile phase. Juvenile phase is the inactive phase, that the seed dormancy phase, which normally goes by the plant at a certain time. So we can overcome this phase, right, by somatic hybridization technique. Then protoplast transformation, having the characters like nitrogen fixation by incorporating exogenous DNA. Following somatic hybridization will yield innovative plants. So we know some of the plants which can fix nitrogen like leguminous plant, where they form a symbiotic relationship with the rhizobium, right? So by this is a non-natural technique, by protoplast transformation, having the traits like nitrogen fixation by incorporating exogenous DNA. So we will introduce some exogenous DNA, like for example your blue green algae, they can also fix nitrogen, we know. So by introducing the gene that can fix the nitrogen through somatic hybridization, here we are not using the genetic transfer techniques, we're just fusing the protoplast. So if we can able to use the, suppose the algae chloroplast, the algae protoplast is being fused with certain plant, and if the nitrogen fixing gene is being introduced into that hybrid cell, then we can able to make some innovative plants which can fix nitrogen by their own. We don't need then nitrogen fertilizer artificially. Okay, some more examples has been given how they form resistant to certain disease by the hybrid formation, but there is also some limitations as well, like first they are asymmetric, sometimes they not always produce plants that are fertile and give viable seeds. This is the one problem. Due to somatic incompatibility, they may not be viable. Second, regenerated plants obtained from somatic hybridization are variable in their chromosome content due to soma clonal variation. So this is another topic that you have to study. I will give you the notes based on of the soma clonal variation. Soma clonal variation occurs in due to many ways. Many causes are there, not many ways. Many causes are there that leads to soma clonal variation, like increase in your culture period. When you are doing subculturing in plant tissue culture, they can also lead to variation in their chromosome in the plantlet cell. Secondly, on what explant we are using, what type of explant we are using for your tissue culture. Okay, for protoblast culture, that can also lead to soma clonal variation. That's why we take meristematic explant. They divide by normal mitosis, but they don't undergo endo reduplication. But the cells from non-meristematic part, they undergo endo reduplication, and that can result in chromosomes having 4 chromatids, chromosome having 8 chromatids. That means the polytene conditions may occur. So soma clonal variation may occur. Okay. Third problem, protoplast culture is frequently associated with genetic instability. Okay, obviously. Suppose we want to introduce some genetic features from the plant cell B, that is contained within the nucleus. And during fusion, what happened? It forms a heterokaryon. That's okay, good. But during successive cell divisions, the strain B nucleus, all of the chromosomes has been eliminated. All of the chromosomes have been eliminated. So that's a problem. We want to introduce a new trait to the plant by fusion of the protoplast. That's why we form hybrids, because in hybrids, what happens, the cytoplasmic hybrids, the genes, the traits that are derived from the cytoplasmic genes, or you can say extra chromosomal genes, they will be retained in the cytoplasm. Next problem, protoplast fusion between different species or genus is easy, but a production of viable somatic hybrids is not possible in all instances. So protoplast fusion between different species, between different genus is easy, but the production of viable somatic hybrid is not possible. You can fuse the protoplast. We can able to fuse the protoplast between different species, different genus. Okay, but from that hybrid to generate a viable somatic hybrid is not possible. First problem will occur while generation of the cell wall. So when we are generating the cell wall from that protoplast, it is difficult to regenerate them. Secondly, after regeneration of cell wall, whether the cell will grow or not, that's also a next problem that we face. Next, some of the somatic hybrids, particularly when produced by fusion of taxonomically different partners, are unbalanced and not viable. So some somatic hybrids, when they are produced by fusion of taxonomically different partner, they become very unbalanced because their chromosome contents, cytoplasmic content are all different, and they are not viable at all. Next, the number 7 point is very wellly said that there is no certainty as regards the expression of any specific characters in the somatic hybridization. You will not able to say that yes, I will introduce this character through somatic hybridization technique. That the character that is expressed by that gene may get lost due to somatic incompatibility. So that's why we go for genetic engineering techniques like, for example, agrobacterium mediated gene transfer, or by the mechanical techniques like biolistic method, which is also called as gene gun, where through the help of high force we are allowing the we are allowing the DNA to be introduced to the nucleus. All of these techniques have limitations as well. Somatic hybridization between two diploids result in the formation of amphidiploid, which is not favorable. For this reason, haploid protoplasts are recommended in somatic hybridization. So, somatic hybridization between two diploids will lead to the formation of amphidiploid, which is not favorable for growing into plant. That's why haploid protoplasts are normally recommended in somatic hybridization. So this was all about your somatic hybridization techniques, the protoplast culture. I hope you have understood all these things. If you have any query, you can WhatsApp me in our group, in our WhatsApp group. Okay.